Hi, I'm Matt, and this is Matt's Ukrainian Kitchen. So today we're making pierogis. Now to make pierogis, you got to start with a good dough, and I'll show you. This is the dough I made up in my food processor. And to make this dough, we use King Arthur's flour. We use 1 cup of this. Get the good stuff, King Arthur's. And the trick is to use 3/4 of a cup of cake flour. Makes the dough much easier to work with, and good stuff. So you mix those two together, and then you put in 3/4 of a teaspoon of, I use sea salt, good stuff, and 2 large eggs. You put it in your blender, or food processor rather, and it'll make a grain. Then you want to add up to 1/4 cup of cold water until the dough balls. You want the dough fairly dry. And if it's not dry enough, it's okay, add just a little bit of flour to dry it out. Now you take your dough and you run it through any kind of pasta machine. I've got a nice KitchenAid here, and you start it out at 1 and you work your way up to number 3. The dough wants to be fairly thick because we're going to stretch it, all right? So I'm going to run this through. There we go. So that's a setting 1. You don't have to work it too much. Setting 2. And finally, we're going to go up to setting 3. So we've got this nice dough to work. This machine's indispensable. Everyone needs one of these things. So now we cut the dough. I've got this, I have no idea, it's a hamburger press, or the ring for one. So I put that on the dough and just turn it and peel the dough halfway off here, and you should be able to break out a little ring of dough. So, well, generally I do about 8 of these at a whack, but just for this video, we're going to show you how to do just 1 for right now, and I'll continue on later. So, you have your round piece of dough, okay, and what you want to do, I've got a paintbrush and a little bit of water. You go on the edge. You may want to take a hand in a little bit on this, Cass. Go on the edge, just once around, just to moisten the edge. Now, from there, I've got my filling here. Good stuff, and I'll tell you more about that later. But what I do is I take a rounded teaspoon. I want to put a good amount in that. The size of maybe a walnut, right in the middle of this dough. All right, take a shot of that. So now the folding techniques, Cass, you're going to have to squeeze in here. This is the tricky part because you don't poke a hole through that dough. You grab the dough and hold the filling with your thumb as you roll the dough over. And as soon as you get part of it stuck, you can work your hand around there. And what I do is I squish it down to get most of the air out. As soon as the air out, what I do is I take and I fold that edge over a little bit, and that double seals it without worrying about putting holes in. Now it's going to swell up when I put it in the water, so right now I just flatten it out, and that'll distribute everything equally, and it'll double seal those edges, which is very important. If this breaks while it's boiling, then it's just a mess and you have to throw it away. So there it is. There's our pierogi, okay? Now I've got boiling water here. I throw it in. Doesn't have to be in there very long, just a minute or so. And it'll float to the top. As soon as it floats to the top, it's done, take it out. And what I've been doing is putting it in a mixture of a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter, some water. I don't drain it too well. This keeps the pierogis from sticking to each other when you fry them, because that's what you're ultimately going to do, is fry this thing. So let's see. Right now is it floating? It's pretty close. Like I said, doesn't take long. 30 seconds, 40 seconds. What you're dealing with here is basically pasta. So you want to quick cook it because the majority of it gets cooked when you fry it in a pan later. So it's floating. We take it out. We dump it in with its little brothers. And we swish it around, and that's good. And you let it cool down, and then you can You know, take it out and fry it. Now the filling, you can use all sorts of stuff. In here, traditionally, this would be the Russian filling, but this type of filling starts off with potatoes. I use Yukon Gold potatoes. You're only going to do this once, so it's good stuff. You've got to use the good quality stuff. I use farmer's cheese that I buy at a local market. The Russian variation of this, and salt and pepper. A little bit of salt and pepper, and maybe, I use 5 pounds of potatoes, 2 pounds of farmer's cheese, a stick of butter melted, spread around in here, salt and pepper to taste. That's the basic ingredients. With the Russian, I use, to that I add about a half a pound of fried bacon, crumbled up, and fried onions, chopped up very finely, mix it up. That's a great filling. Another good filling is sauerkraut and cabbage. Right here is a, excuse me, a combination. I fry an onion, diced up again, in the bacon grease that I had left over. I throw in a small can, maybe 10 ounces of sauerkraut, and I got a half a head of lettuce. I boiled the lettuce, not lettuce, cabbage. I boiled the cabbage ahead of time, and I ran it through the food processor to chop it up into coleslaw-sized bits. So that's another filling you can use, and there's a million more on the web. So, but that's your basic how to cook a pierogi. All right.